When I say servant leadership, people go, "Oh yeah, that's that touchy-feely thing," or that's a leader that doesn't know what they're doing, and you can run right on over them. So, Mary Amy, what thoughts do you have on that?
Well, I understand the confusion around that. Some people think that servant leadership means subservient leadership, which it definitely does not. Servant leadership, I go with Jim Koussis and Barry Posner's definition that servant leadership is a leader's selfless commitment to a cause, an organization, or a teammate. And when I think about servant leadership, one of the great examples, especially in this definition, is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And when you think about him, you know that is not a person who's soft or touchy-feely. Yes, he was a compassionate, empathetic person, but he was firm and strong and selflessly committed to getting the Civil Rights Act passed. And he did it by using servant leadership, both in his civil disobedience and in his firm demands of the Kennedy brothers and others in leadership as he worked to build the coalitions to get the Civil Rights Act passed. So firm and yet collegial are two of the categories of servant leadership.
Yeah, and I think also from a servant leadership perspective, when we think about it, sometimes we get stuck on that word servant. And really, I think it's turning the traditional hierarchy of management. So usually there's the leader at the top and then the folks that work for them. It's turning it upside down. And it's actually making that big platform the top. And I was reading about some of the things on this recently. One of the things that struck me was it's talking about the power with, not the power over. And so to Mary's point, I think it's about putting people first. This is the first time we've had 5 generations working in the workforce at the same time. So you can imagine addressing each one equally and the same way is not going to work. So it's really about how do you, as a leader, look at that as a privilege and how you can impact both the people you manage, but also create a culture where everyone becomes leaders and feels empowered.